Hey traders, John Howell here. In today's video, I'm going to be covering a few articles here with the Warren Buffett indicator. I'm also going to talk about the S&P at record highs and what's really going on right now behind the scenes. And I'm also going to be talking about like this I got a pretty awesome image that I want to share with you. I also then want to share with you one sort of simple technique of how these markets work and how to operate them and how to understand what sort of phase are we in right now. That's going to give you a really good probability of trading. And then lastly, I'm going to finish off with, because I know yesterday you guys loved that sort of motivational stuff as well too. So today I've also got a really sort of 2 or 3 minute motivational clip as well to really help you out. If you've gone through a hard time right now, then my hope is this last clip that I played, I recorded that just coming out of the gym this morning. My hope is that it's just going to motivate you and inspire you, maybe just to help you, give you some things to get you on the right side of what we're looking at. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. All right, traders, let's get straight into it. Right? The first thing I want to share with you is this chart of the day, how a Great Depression became a golden age. And one thing I can see here is this is basically the fiscal stimulus support here. And you can see that in history, the only times that we have had massive spikes like where we are right now when it comes to fiscal support have been back in this is basically in 1920s, 1916 to, this is World War I. Then we had a drop. Then we moved into 1930 to 1945, big spike, which was World War II. And right now, we can see that not even the GFC trumps what we're seeing right now. So I'm expecting to see this printing to explode even higher than obviously this one here. So there's going to be a lot more printing of money, I believe. And so, but it's also going to be really interesting as China starts to come together with us, or to come against the Americans, especially the world, right? They're against the world. Us Australians, we're like, oh, against against China. America, oh, all right, against the China. So, it's really interesting to see what's happening. So I'm expecting a lot more printing of money, which leads me into my sort of segment here when it comes to the actual stock market. Right now I'm seeing, there you go. I just started 2 sentences without finishing it. The S&P rises to a record close, fully wiping out the coronavirus losses. See, a lot of people are going to be jumping on this bandwagon here right now, and I don't believe this bull run here is over yet. We possibly will get some pullbacks in the stock market or the S&P 500, but I don't believe we are over just yet. I think we have some more upside to come just to get people more soaked into these markets, and then it's going to dump on you so hard it's going to make your head spin. And one of the things that there's many things out there that I see there, but one of the things that I see when it comes to the Warren Buffett indicator, I'm not going to get too much into how it's all calculated and so on and so forth, but here is a chart that I like when it comes to, see this chart here, guys? I like this chart here. It's just a fascinating chart. I like how it's got all these little dots through here, and what is that? Let me try again. And no, I'm not going to do it again. All right, I'm just going to zoom in. What a chart that was. There's probably some cryptic code in there as well too, right? When it comes to the Warren Buffett indicator. So might have to look for that cryptic code. Anyway, so you can see back when it comes to the Warren Buffett indicator, global market capitalization / the global GDP. And you can see this is sort of like his sort of warning sign on where we are right now in the markets and so on and so forth. You can see the valuation got back here in 2006 to 2007 into 2008 was just massively an astronomical move up. And now you got where we are right now. So I wouldn't be too surprised, especially where we are right now, where the government's going to keep printing more money, to see this thing continue spiking up, which is probably going to see a more of a rise in all the markets. And I don't think we're there just yet with the market, with everything what's going on right now in the market. And so I just really don't see the markets coming out. Now leave a comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you really think that the S&P 500, I'm talking about the S&P 500 here, do you really think that we are going to continue up? And this is the S&P 500 right here. Do you think we're likely to continue up, break up to new highs and just keep running? Or do you think, we're probably going to eke out a new high and then drop. Let me know what you think in the chat box below. I personally think, yes, we're probably likely to get some form of a pullback, just like we did through all these sections or through here, right? So we did through here, we did through here, and you know what? Possibly maybe even get a pullback through here, but I see a lot more upside to come out of the S&P 500. I don't think this market has done enough yet sucking people in. So, but that obviously all could change. The Nasdaq itself is obviously continuing to make new highs as well. So I actually see a bit of a vertical move actually happening in Nasdaq. Yes, because there's so much talking of Nasdaq high and so on and so forth, and you know, and I just don't see it going for a big move yet, because a lot of these tech stocks, right, like for example Tesla, have actually pretty much been doing nothing, and now we're just starting to break out like Tesla. We're seeing like Amazon is just starting to break out now as well too, and I actually have a bit of a projection on Amazon. I think Amazon's likely to get to 3,700 based on a projection there. That's based on a pattern. I'll talk about the pattern a bit later on. But there's a lot of stocks out there. Facebook as well too. Facebook's actually holding strong here. So we're possibly likely to see, you know, a bit of a rise out of Facebook soon as well too, and a more move to the upside. We're seeing all these. Apple has continued to make a movement strong. So there's a lot of strength in the Nasdaq index amongst all these big tech stocks out there. And just like Tesla and just like Amazon, I believe they have a lot more upside to come. I don't believe we've actually peaked the bubble yet. We will know when the bubble is peaked, because we'll start to see some pretty crazy vertical action in the markets. And so I don't think we've actually seen that just yet. Now, one thing I wanted to share with you is the next thing I want to share with you is how the markets work, and understanding what sort of phase you're in can really help you identify if you're getting in a high probability time. Now, what do I mean by that? There is different phases that the market goes through. The market goes through a bit of a moving phase, which is called a price phase. And then we go through a bit of a time phase, which is the pullback phase, and then we go through a bit of a price phase, right? So it's not exactly that black and white, but when you start to see, okay, what sort of phase are we in right now when looking at the markets? So I'm going to bring up the GDX here as an example, or the GDXJ as an example, and I'm going to talk about here how to read the market. So we have a price phase, which is a directional move, and then we have a pullback phase, which is known as a time phase. And you can notice how when this market here was actually stepping up, slowly stepping up, this is known as what? A price phase. Why? Because we're slowly stepping up in a direction. And then look what happened. We went sideways for a bit, didn't we? This is known as time. And then we did what? Then we broke out, and we started breaking out above this level through here. So then what do? We went through a bit of a what? Another price phase. And so we're in, what do you think we're in now? What? Time phase. So you notice in the time phases, these time phases is very unpredictable. When they're sideways, not much going on, very, very, very unpredictable, right? You know, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? And you get this volatility. It's very, very, very unpredictable. But when you start to break up and out and you start to trend again, that's when the probability of the market likely to move in that direction, because now you're in what? A price phase. So right now, if you're trying to trade it, you know, you're hopping in today and hoping for a couple of day move or whatever like that, even when it comes to the GDXJ right now, is that we're actually, this has actually probably started a bit of a time phase. So we're probably likely to go sideways for a little bit, maybe even a little bit more of a pullback before we do what? Before we start another price phase. So you can see here, this here is the price phase. If you're looking to buy it, you're looking for the market to be trending up. And then that's when you have a high probability of it doing well. When the market starts to go sideways like this, very, very, very volatile, very unpredictable. Then we go through a bit of a price move, and now we're going through a very volatility move right now again, which is known as a time move in the market. So look at the markets that you're in, and look at the markets that you're trading. And if I give you just another example here. Let me bring up, say, Amazon here, for example, right? Let's just use Amazon, because I know I've been mentioning that for quite some time. And you'll notice Amazon does the exact same thing. Now, what does Amazon do, right? We have what? From here to here, we had a bit of a trending move. And then notice we went through, this here is known as price, or a directional move. And then we went through what? We went through a bit of a sideways phase. Notice how we just didn't do much. And then what do? We actually broke out. We started what? We started a nice trending phase again. And now, now what happened? It went sideways for a little bit. And now we're actually starting to break out again. So as you can see, we're just starting to break out now. So as you can see that this is when you start to identify as what type of phase is your stock or your market in right now, it can give you a probability like, am I entering in a high probability time or am I not? So the first thing is understanding where the trend is. But then secondly, understanding what sort of phase is your stock in, or what sort of phase may be your stock going into. So if I look at this here right now, this is a price phase through here. So in the price phase, nice move up. Time phase, look at here, volatility, then broke out, went through another big directional move. Price phase, now we went through a time phase here, price phase here, a time phase here, and now we're just starting to slowly break out. If we can continue up a little bit more, we're likely to start what? Another price phase in the markets. Now we never know, we can never predict how long the price phase is going to be. You know, the price phase is going to be here, but the whole point is to say, okay, if you're in one of these sideways phases, it's very, 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 very unpredictable. But as soon as we start to break above the high point of the box, we're starting to break above the high point of the box. There's a very high probability that we're now starting a bit of a price phase. And then now there's a probability of us jumping on a moving train. One thing this is like the train coming here. It stops at the train station, and you've hopped in it, and you're wondering why it's not moving. And then you get off here. I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. And then suddenly you walk away, and then suddenly the train leaves without you, right? I was like, oh crap. So the best thing to do is wait for it to break out of this sideways range, break up and start to at least trend a little bit. And so, okay, now we're starting to trend. Now's the probability of this thing continuing. And then when it continues. And then now we go through a bit of a same thing here, right? You've jumped in on here, or the market's trending, and then suddenly the market does nothing. Same thing here, right? You're like, oh, this train sucks. I'm out of here. All right, I'm out of here. And then suddenly, it breaks out and it continues up. So the best probability is, okay, what sort of phase are we in right now? What sort of stock are we? What sort of phase is the market in right now? To give you the probability of, if you're looking for a short-term trade, maybe for a couple of day trade, or maybe even for a week type of trade, and you're looking to hold on that long, the best probability is, okay, are we actually starting to break up and out and starting to trend, or are we just going sideways in a bit of a time phase, bit of a resting phase? And then we're looking to move again. Because I call these phases, one thing I really call these phases is energy building and energy using. Energy using is the market moving, so the market's going up, so it's using energy. Then it goes what? Then it goes sideways. Then it goes sideways. This is building energy, so it's just going sideways, it's resting. For what? To go for another run again. And this is now using energy, and now we go through what? Now we go through another sort of time phase, which is now building energy. And now guess what? Now we're likely to start to release that energy it built and start to move up. So using energy, it built energy. Then it starts to break out, starts to release that energy that it built through here. Then it starts to go back into an energy building phase. And now we're likely to start to release that energy. But there's no guarantees of this continuing, guys. So you still want to have good trading setups and so on and so forth. So that's what I see through there, guys. Make sure you understand price and time, energy building. It's going to add so much more probability to the way that you trade. So just finishing my morning at 45 workout this morning. One thing I want to talk about today is, what are you feeding your mind with? It's such a big thing in life, I find that there's so much garbage that's going on. There's so much negativity that's going on around right now. And unfortunately, most people's lives absolutely suck. So they'd rather tap into most people's. Well, I'm still wearing my chest thing today. Anyway, guys, every day feed your mind with something that's gonna try to do whatever you can to force yourself out of the garbage out there. Feed your mind with good stuff, right? Because more than ever, the world needs you to shine. More than ever, the world needs you to step up and really show the world what you're truly capable of, because right now there's so many people down and out. There's so many people that are struggling right now. There's so many people that are going through hardships right now. And more than ever, what they need is they need to see you shine. And instead of you talking a game,
Go out there and push and push and push and push and show the good game. Show out there, show your tenacity, show your strength, show your commitment, you know. And not only that, but have a good laugh as well too. You know, sometimes I'm in the F45 session or in the gym session, I'm dancing in between sets. I'm having a good old time. So, anyway, be careful what you stop listening to this bullshit out there, because it's not doing nothing for you in your life and your future. Yes, there's a lot of crap going on there right now, but more than ever, if you are down and out right now and you're trying to pick yourself up, make a conscious, a disciplined decision to start feeding your mind. When I go for a jog, I'm listening to a Kevin Hart audiobook, or when I'm at the gym, I'm listening to motivational stuff as well too. Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, all that sort of stuff. Pushing. Because I'm telling you right now, you either got two decisions in life. One, you can keep getting sucked into the whole bullshit out there and not going to serve you whatsoever with what's going on right now. Or secondly, no matter what happens, you can feed your mind every day. You can push yourself physically as well, and you can feed your mind and feed your mind. So no matter what happens on the outside, when inside is taken care of, when inside is strong, the enemy with outside, no matter what happens, financial pressure, stress, kids, relationships, patience, setbacks, failures, things not working, when you take care of the inside and take care of this most of all, and you're feeding it and building a strong body and strong mind, the enemy without can do no harm.